You must have seen professional YouTube thumbnails where grid lines can be seen in the background, money flowing everywhere like this, then the use of glow effect in the background, the face of the subject looks very smooth, and finally the colors are made to pop. Now in these videos, I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful thumbnails. And because you have already subscribed to this channel, I have a gift for you at the end of this video, so kindly watch it to the end. Now before we start today's video, I need to say this real quick. Now if you haven't used Photoshop before, you don't need to worry. Trust me, follow me step by step and you're going to be fine. Now if you also don't have Photoshop installed on your PC, you don't need to worry at all. There's an online version of Photoshop called PHOTOPEA. It is free and you don't need to install anything. The link is going to be in the description for you. And without further delay, let's start today's video. To design this masterpiece, we are going to need these items. I want you to go to File and let's create a new document. Now the dimension for a YouTube thumbnail is 1280 by 720. Keep the resolution 300, and then I want us to name it thumbnail. Also, to ensure our image is in the middle of the thumbnail, we need to bring in some guards. So we are going to view, we'll go to new guard layout, and then let's type in these figures. So we're going to start with the background. Click on the adjustment icon down here and select solid color. Pick color black. Let's also drag and drop our grid pattern. Link to all resources is going to be in the description for you as usual. Scale it up. Use Ctrl 0 to zoom into the canvas and then Ctrl- to zoom out. Now give the grid layer a mask. Pick your brush tool. This is where you find all the tools we need for our design. Now select a soft round brush and change the color to black. Now I want you also to brush this part of the grid. Set the opacity to 90%. Also select both layers and use the shortcut Ctrl G to group them. We want to call this background. Now you're going to be using these shortcuts very often, so if possible write them down so that you don't forget. Also, now is a perfect time to drag in our image. Ctrl T to resize it and keep it in the middle. Also, his nose needs to be aligned with the middle guide. Now right click it and convert it to a smart object. Let's put it into a group by clicking on Ctrl G and then let's call it image. Now as you can see, I am grouping all these layers. This is very vital, that way we don't get confused along the way. Also bring in the YouTube logo and drag it beneath the image folder. By using the move tool, we are also able to reposition it. Click Ctrl T if you want to rotate it or resize it. Let's keep it in the group as well. Create a new layer, pick red color, and then also using a soft round brush, I want you to apply the color around the edges of the logo. Set the opacity to 74% when doing this. Also set a blending mode to linear dodge. It's time to drag in our whiteboard. We want to write our text on it. Resize it and then press T on the keyboard to activate the text tool. Now type subscribers. The font we use throughout is Montserrat and change the color to color black. Also resize the text accordingly. Now use Ctrl J to duplicate the text and type this figure. Make it very bold this time and resize it. Drag in this green icon to indicate an increase in the subscribers. Also group this. Duplicate this folder with Ctrl G and then drag it down, and then let's name it views. Change the values of both the text and the number. Select this folder and rotate it downwards. Then select the other one and also rotate it upwards. Now open this group. Create a new layer. Right click and create clipping mask. With the help of the soft round brush, choose color black and set the opacity to 20% up here. Now we also want to brush in a shadow effect here. Drag in this graph and let's change the color by using hue and saturation adjustment. Click on this to clip it and move the top slider till we have color green. This was the color before and this is the color after. With the graph selected, click on the mask icon. Pick color black. Use the soft round brush. Set the opacity to 100 up here and mask this side of the graph. Now select these two and duplicate it. Double click the mask of the graph and click on invert. Select the hue and saturation and move the top slider till it is color red. Also group this. Now everything looks neat and very organized. It's now time for us to add the skin smoothing effect, just like we see in Mr. Beast's thumbnail. I want you to locate the image folder and double click on the layer. So because it's a smart object, everything we do in here will apply to the main canvas as well. Now duplicate the layer here and then hide the one under. Also let's rasterize the one on top. Right click on the brush tool for more options and locate the mixer brush. So we want to set the load to 75, and then we also want to set the wet to 6. Also keep your caps lock off. Gently brush on the skin areas, but leave out the hairs, the attire, the eyes, and the teeth. Also don't forget to brush the hands as well. Now we want to brush anywhere within the human skin. So this is before and this is after. Save it by clicking on Ctrl S, then close it. When you go to the main canvas, you will see that it has reflected there. And here comes the most asked question in thumbnail make: how do I glow the subject? I'm going to show you. Go to adjustment below and select solid color. Make it a clipping mask. Also change it to color red and set the blending mode to linear dodge. I want you to double click on the mask and then click invert. Now let's repeat the process again and add another color. We will set color green for the graph here and also set it to linear dodge. Invert the mask. Click on the black mask off the red layer. With the help of the soft round brush and using color white, brush into areas you want to apply the red glow. Do the same with the color green also. Now glowing a subject can be a little tricky. Another secret here: to make the glow on the subject very realistic, we also need to add a light source behind the subject, and we need to put it in vantage points as well. Let me show you how to do it. Create a new layer and pick color green. Apply it, set it to linear dodge. Drag the layer down and duplicate it. Drag it to the top. Duplicate it again and move it above the graph folder. This makes the glow to affect these folders as well, therefore creating and making it even look more real. As usual, I want you to group them. Also duplicate this group and drag it down to the bottom. Select the board layer and scale it this way by holding Alt and then Shift. Type in the currency and then resize it. Move the green icon to the right and change the top text as well. Now select the entire folder or group, and then I want you to also rotate it a bit. It's time to bring in those bundle of dollars and keep it in the lower corner. Create a new layer and brush in color black. This creates a shadow effect. Create another layer and set the top opacity to 20%. Now let's brush this side. Remember to keep this also in a group. Now drag in the flying dollar and then let's keep it at this side. To give it a realistic look, we need to blur it. Go to filter, blur, motion blur, and then use these values. Now I also want you to duplicate it and I want you to rotate it and reposition it as well. We are going to merge everything together by clicking on Ctrl, Alt, Shift and then E. After that, we are going to convert it to a smart object. It's time to boost the colors and make them more vibrant. We are going to filter and we are going to use the camera raw effect. Move the sliders to your desired preference and also go to the color mixer, and then I want you to move the sliders of these various colors, and that is it. So here's the final results.